Hello there and welcome back to the Zero Credentials F1 podcast. I'm here with Nelly and we're here to discuss the F1 Canadian Grand Prix that's just happened. It was a fairly static race to begin with, Nelly, do you
Virgin
think?
on dull, mate. Virgin on dull.
We ended up with, as we so often do, with quite a lot of excitement. So let's roll the intro and then we'll get into the discussion. So, as always, mate, we're getting straight into this. Straight after the race, I think I just about caught the post-race interviews with Nico Rosberg.
Oh, what did they say? I missed it. I haven't seen anything yet.
I mean, I was feeling, I've got to say, I was feeling a little bit negative about the race for the majority. And I was hoping for a sort of couple of laps sprint race. But then I saw the interviews and I'm super chuffed for George Russell. Yeah. I think he drove an astonishingly good race. Well, a weekend, basically, like from Saturday onwards. Yeah.
Controlled. He didn't seem under too much pressure and had something in the bag for when Max was trying to turn it up a little bit. But yeah, lovely to see Mercedes back in that sort of form.
Yeah, and then when Kimi Antonelli did his interview, the Canadian crowd were just like, Kimi.
Oh, I love him.
Kimi.
Nice
It was brilliant. And then Nico was like, he said, they're chanting your name, they love you. And he was like, ah. It was just a nice moment that kind of really...
Buzzing little 18-year-old lad going,
yeah,
yes,
it was.
Yes.
It's funny as well because I think Nico Rosberg earlier in the weekend had written him off, basically, saying that there's just no way he's going to grow into the weekend.
Yeah, this kid's not coming back. He's done.
Which is exactly what he did. What's your thoughts on the race? You sort of what talking points jumped out for you? It took a while to get going, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, early days started as a bit of a DRS train. Again, some questionable Ferrari tactics in terms of where Leclerc wanted to go, but ultimately, another dog for Lewis as well. Ultimately, a fair race. I messaged you in there saying we could really use somebody sending it into the wall, and happily they did. But I'm sure we'll get onto the talking point of Lando and Oscar. Yeah,
should we start there because it it brought a spark to the whole race, didn't it? And I'm sorry to say that I mean we've fully shit the bed on our predictions this week. Yes. But one thing we have been saying, or I've been saying at least, is I'm not sure Lando is a championship contender. And sadly today, that's exactly what's played out because I honestly don't know what he was doing.
Enthusiasm overtook talent there. Yeah, absolutely. And he was so lucky not to take out Oscar at the same time.
Because they had, just to sort of, if no one has seen it or they haven't seen the race, he got a little sneaky move done, Lando did, on the hairpin, which I think is turn 10.
Yeah.
They've then had a bit of a drag race down the long straight. Lando's got ahead, but he's on the outside, so he's had to concede into the chicane.
Oscar braked late as well, but
yeah, he did. Yeah. He outbraked him, yeah. And then they've had a bit of another drag race down the pit straight, and then Lando's got him behind him, thought he could get between Oscar and the wall, and just
decided to do a little bit of off-road.
Yeah, and then hit both of them. He hit the wall. Yeah. He hit the back of Oscar, and then hit the wall, didn't he? And just took it.
He went a little bit World Rally Championship on it, didn't he? 2 wheels on the grass is not going to do you many favours. Oscar is completely blameless on that. He took the race in line. He didn't squeeze him. He didn't do anything. It was Lando trying to send something fairly harebrained up the inside. I get that he's under pressure to maybe start showing some aggression because he was following. He got Oscar down from, he had a good 7-8 seconds lead on him. He was chasing them both down, him and Antonelli. and then was chasing Oscar for a few laps with seemingly zero effect. So he had to. I guess he felt the pressure to have to throw something in there, but
it's what we've all been saying. We've all been saying it though. We've said it on this podcast, and the press and TV have been saying it as well. Is that Lando's pace has never been in question? Mm-hmm. He drove up to the back of Piastri, but then it comes to the racecraft.
He's lacking
the keeping of the cool head. Mm-hmm. You're right. He's lacking.
Yeah. He's lacking. He's got. We flagged this up, I think, in the first series of podcasts that we did. That when he gets close to Max or when he's chasing him, he can hunt him down definitely. But once he's there, he seems to run out of ideas. And if that's his only idea, what we've seen today, then he really needs to think long and hard about it. Lucky that Oscar was kept in the race. But to be fair to Lando. No petulance, hands straight up.
Yeah, that's right. He did put his hands up straight away, but I mean, I'd almost prefer it if he didn't. Do you know what I mean? A championship racing driver would claim that was Oscar's fault. Yeah. And they did a little piece on Sky before the race about the kind of ruthless historical racing drivers, talking more so about Max Verstappen into the present, but people like Senna, like Schumacher, like Alain Prost, they were unforgiving. Yeah. And they never admitted fault. I mean, Max admitting fault against George last weekend was kind of the first ever time he's done it.
I've been starting to ask myself this question a little bit, but is Lando too nice? Does he like being the friendly, liked guy around the paddock? And he might like that, but it's not going to win you. I
100% think that is the case.
Yeah,
I think you've got to have, because even talking about Lewis Hamilton, that a lot of people think was a really fair racer. Nico Rosberg this weekend, who is just a gem, isn't he? Every time Nico's on, I love it. But he was saying that like Lewis always kind of rode the grey line between what was right and wrong, and it was never totally. If something happened, it was never 100% his fault, and he did that really well. And he did some
pretty brutal stuff against Nico when you look back on it. But you need to have an absolute ruthless killer instinct to you. And if something like that goes on, maybe like your Prosts, your Sennas, and whoever would actually have gone off into their camper van in a huff and not spoken to anyone or done anything, but rather than apologise. But the time Schumacher went to spark David Coulthard out after he took him out in the rain, running down the paddock.
Yeah.
Let me at him.
I think at this point I'd prefer Lando to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like let me see some like spirit or some sort of single-minded desire to win where you don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
Because that's what Max is like.
Well, that's
what Lewis was like.
Yeah, and
all the champions. Yeah,
he's still. I can't even say he's still very young because he's one of the older ones in the field. When you look at the wider field, it's either you've got it or you haven't. I think Oscar's probably stronger that way, not in terms of cruelty, but just he's completely dispassionate. He's almost robotic.
Yes, he is, and he's. I mean, that McLaren obviously wasn't quite as fast today, and Oscar's done all right. I know he got done by Kimi, but I just think, for me now, Lando is entering that same sort of bracket that I'd have Charles Leclerc in.
Yeah.
Where they're brilliant, but just not quite there. I think
don't quite have the fibre to do it. Don't have the plums.
Yeah, I'd probably put Carlos Sainz in there as well, but Nico Hulkenberg. But there's the F1 history is just littered with these people that were brilliant.
Good racer, but will never, ever...
because we're talking about the pinnacle of sport, aren't we? The absolute pinnacle of sport where you've got to have something extra. And sadly, I fear that Lando has slipped into that.
You can't have a mindset of, I'll do it next week. There's another chance. No, actually, you've got to treat every race as, like, this is the last chance I've got to do something spectacular. And back in the 80s when, and even 90s, when the cars could have killed you quite easily. You didn't know whether you were going home that weekend, so you were giving it absolutely everything because this might be the last thing that anyone ever hears of me. But it's a shame. It enlivened a pretty dull race, but no, I'm really pleased for George and Kimi.
I think we did. They deserve a few minutes of discussion, don't they? The Mercedes lot, particularly George. I thought he drove a superb race. To be honest, he looked in command, didn't he? Like all the way through. He did a good Saturday. The Mr. Saturday sort of monkey on his back, and he got off the line well, didn't he? Like into the first corner, took the lead, and then never really looked like he was in any trouble after that.
Controlled the pace, and I think Martin Brundle said it very early doors. Once he's ahead and he's broken DRS, he really has to be sensible about the longevity of the tyres. And I appreciate he was in clear air in the first stint anyway, so that wasn't too much of a problem. But he didn't seem to be pushing it too much. He gave Max the chance in the first few laps to chase him down, and even Max was sensible enough after that little spell to sort of sit back, cool the car down, and see what else can be done with the undercuts, which seemed to be their approach today. But they did very well with I mean, I just can't believe it's the same motor vehicle with Yuki Tsunoda. What's he in, sort of 14th, something like that, which is from a pit lane start is okay, but it's still horrible for that seat, isn't it? Absolutely appalling. 12th. Oh, well done, Yuki. No points again.
I mean, it's a cursed seat, isn't it? They were talking earlier in the weekend about what would Hadjar do if he got the call. And Nico Rosberg was like, he's got to say no.
Yeah, ring every other team in the paddock and say,
you got to drive.
Do you want? I'm doing all right at the minute. Can I have a drive, please? Any other team in the paddock? That spooky seat is haunted, man. It's really bad.
Prior to the last lap, or the last few laps, the last lap of racing that we saw before the safety car came out, one of my talking points that I wrote down was I phrased it: Ferrari self-harming. That's what my notes read.
Yeah. Yes. Again. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're already. So Leclerc did a bold first stint. Who was he doing it with? There was him and
Lando. It was
Lando. Yeah, we're on the hards to start off with, and just as it was starting to pay off, and what did he? He asked for Plan C, which must have been a one-stop. And his tyres looked okay, slight amount of marking up, but he was still clearly happy with them. And the team went, well, we're on Plan B, but he went, I prefer Plan C, and they went copy, which almost acknowledges, okay, yeah, we've heard you, but I mean, it's not a confirmation by any means, and then they bring him in shortly thereafter. And
I think I said it to you and Whites on the text during the race, that I think when they brought Charles in, was it like lap 25 or something, something around there, they'd already at that point settled for 6th and 7th.
Yeah. Because they put him on.
And I mean, that was how it would have finished if it wasn't for Lando smashing into the wall. But like,
they put him on the hards again, so they had no option to adapt if there was an earlier safety car.
It's just, I mean, Lewis got some sort of phantom damage from somewhere, didn't he, that seemed to appear from out of nowhere.
I think they're just telling him that to make him feel better. So he doesn't finish the race and go on top himself.
Oh, God, I know. And then, but their timing of his pit stop was absolutely terrible. I tell you what they do, right? This is what Ferrari do, is that something happens, and whereas other teams would react like that and bring someone in to cover the undercut, Ferrari always take about 2 to 3 laps to have a good think about it. And by that point, it's always too late. Always.
Well, they go out the back, have a couple of cigarettes and a coffee, and they sat there going, hey, what do you think? Hey, I don't know. What are you going to do about it? And then they come in and say, right, yeah, bring him in. But then there's the you say self-harm, and quite correctly so. I was quite fascinated by what Lewis was saying after the FP sessions and before quali, he's never seen a car set up this way for Canada, and that's completely blown his mind. They must be doing some weird ass setups on that motor.
There's obviously been talk over the weekend about Fred Vasseur leaving, and he was obviously upset about that. I think it sounds like that came from the Italian press, and they're known to be not particularly supportive. But it was also linked with talks of Christian Horner coming in to Ferrari. And at first I thought, no, that's just a disaster. But like the Ferrari mistakes just keep happening.
Yeah.
And we're all Ferrari fans. If you're an F1 fan for a long time, you're pretty much a Ferrari fan, aren't you? And
correct.
It doesn't matter who's driving for them. You want Ferrari somewhere up at the top. And personally, now that Lewis Hamilton's driving for them, I want them to be winning every race, particularly with him.
Is Horner that guy though? Is Horner the answer?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just cannot imagine Horner and Lewis Hamilton working together. But then again, that could morph into something amazing, couldn't it? Like, who knows? Like, it's especially if maybe Max ended up at Mercedes, or here's what I think. I'm going to make a prediction because we've had zero credentials with predictions this week. I think the talk of Alonso going to back to Alpine because he's been meeting with Flav. I think that suggests that Lance Stroll is staying at Aston Martin. Yeah. Because he's a Nepo baby, like you keep saying.
That's a bit unfair, right? He's there 100% by talent.
Therefore, but Alonso's got to leave because Max Verstappen's going there. That's my prediction. And so, and then Christian Horner knows that it's not going to be good at Red Bull next year in 2026 with the new engine. And he's looking for jobs elsewhere. That's kind of my prediction.
That would make a lot of sense because Max is used to having a teammate that's nowhere near him, and if Lance stays, that'll still be the case, regardless of the setup, the new aerodynamics, the new Honda engine, factory Honda engine, and a lot of potential. But yeah, actually, I can really see that. I think Red Bull's not quite imploding, but it's lost key personnel and people are moving on, and don't have an awful lot of time for Christian Horner, but he'll go where the sport is, and he'd be well regarded. There's no question of that because he's got a huge amount of titles under his belt through Vettel and Max.
I just caught a view of myself on the screen, and I think I've caught the sun a bit today.
Just a bit.
I was at a sports tournament all day with my kids, and it was pretty nice and sunny, and there was some rugby going on as well, so I was watching that at the same time.
You need a bit of self-care, mate. A bit of factor 50 and after sun as well.
It's proper got me, hasn't it?
But when that develops to a nice bronze hue, it's going to be delicious. I'm looking forward to that.
Come the warm-up show for the next race, which is...
I'm just a pasty white man, and when I do catch a little bit of sun, I've just got this white band at the top of my forehead. Ridiculous. It's like I'm wearing a hairband or something.
So I mean, one funny thing about this season as well is just every race is different, isn't it? It's become virtually impossible to predict.
That's our excuse.
Should we have a quick look at our predictions?
If we must.
Can you see that? Is that coming on your screen? So pole, none of us got right because obviously George did that. Race, you got 4 out. You predicted 4 out of the top 5 in the wrong order. To be fair to Carlos Sainz, he had a pretty decent recovery race, didn't he? Where did he finish in
back a bit. He finished.
Did he get some points?
He got a point. He was 10th.
Yeah. I mean, fair play for that. I think, like, from where he started in the sort of Saturday, that's all right.
A solid run. That's good.
So I also got 4 out of 5, all in the wrong order. Lewis got 6th in the end, didn't he? So at least I put a Ferrari in there. I was right. I got a Ferrari in the correct position, but it was the other way around. And then same for
Yeah,
Whites.
again, we all heavily underestimate Max.
I know. I
Well,
did.
not
I mean,
heavily,
I think I did say that in the preview shows that I don't really understand why I've underestimated Max there, because he's fast around here, and he was again, wasn't he? Like,
they dumped a load of downforce on the Friday, because I don't know why. I've just got this long-term legacy thing. It goes back to Vettel and Webber. I assume Red Bulls to be slightly slower on the straights, but rapid around corners, and especially the slow corners. So historically, I always think, well, they're never quite. I mean, they're still rapid, but they seem to have a really good balance of all of it at the minute.
Yeah. Good. I mean, good race in the end. I thought there was some tactical stuff going on. I'm like entertained in the end.
Yeah. What did you think about Albon getting thrown to the wolves in no man's land through his strategy as well?
I mean, he ruined his race on the first lap, didn't he? Going over the grass again. I just think once he'd done that, it was.
He must have had floor damage after that.
Curtains it was curtains for him after that, and he was getting obviously cross with the team as well, wasn't he? But I think the damage was already done by that point. Austria for the next race. Are you excited? It's a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. Red Bull stronghold. But now I simply don't have a clue who's going to be doing particularly well there. Hopefully it'll be a comeback for McLaren. They need to get their act together. Although saying that, the Drivers' Championship, where today's result has made things pretty interesting, as Oscar still leads, obviously, but he's got a 22-point lead over Lando, effectively a race win. Lando's still second, but then Max in third with effectively a race win behind Lando. But Gorgeous George not too far at all behind Max. He could start to trouble him, which is very, very interesting. That's
one thing that this weekend's done. It's spiced up the championship a little bit more, hasn't it? It's closed things down a bit. I haven't got anything else. Have you? No. I've got one more thing. I've just been looking at the recording screen again, which is kind of to my right here, and you seem quite delayed.
I am.
You look good on my screen that I'm looking at you, but on the recording you're looking a bit delayed.
Oh God, there's a good 5 seconds. Yeah, there is a good 5 seconds or so behind it as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's gone into the recording or not.
This is going to look like a badly dubbed Japanese samurai film from the 1960s, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's a good opportunity to kind of promote the actual podcast, because we're obviously a YouTube channel, but we also have a podcast that you can get from all your normal podcast places, or just go to zerocredentialsf1.com. I can't remember what our website is, but you can pick all the podcast stuff up there.
Solid advert, mate. Solid advert.
I mean, people know what to do with podcasts.
All the W, something com or co.uk or something like that. Just type in F1 and see what happens.
I mean, this is the point. We have zero credentials. We don't know what we're doing. We're just having fun doing it, and I hope you are as well, viewing the show. So, let us know what you think, and we'll see you pretty soon for another one. Anything else to add, Nils?
No. See you in Austria, people.
Cool. Cheers. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.